Alright guys, welcome once again. We're going to do another podcast. Since it is October, we are going to start doing kind of creepier things. Oh! You're not supposed to be wolf man. As per usual, I have Cameron.
Hello.
And we have Birdie again, who's wearing a very, very interesting Pokemon shirt.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazingly semi-perverse.
But we like that, so it's okay.
If you guys don't know who I am yet, then go back and watch the previous 30-something videos, please. Tonight, we're going to be doing creepypastas. For those of y'all that don't know, creepypasta.
That's not a food.
It's spaghetti and the noodles. They're in weird shapes. No.
Wrong channel.
God damn it, no.
I don't think we're still on the right channel.
Okay, creepypastas are like internet urban legends. They're like the campfire stories that they used to tell around the campfire, and it's campfire stories. But it goes from no comments from the peanut gallery.
We will put the camera on you.
You can't do that.
We'll put the camera on you. I'm not even kidding.
I thought I was going to get headset.
Nope.
That is Bert's mom over there feeding us spooky ghost sounds.
But it got its name basically from, emails where they would copy and paste. And since they were spooky, it got creepy and paste, which became creepypasta, creepypasta.
So we call it creepypasta because of a mispronunciation?
Mm-hmm.
Something new every day.
Typical humans. America. But Cameron, you said you knew more about the video game side of this.
Well, that's just the ones that I've had more, that I've read more of. Just, I don't being the gamer that I am. You're looking at videos of hacks and stuff, and then you come across, and you're like, what the hell is this? It's kind of cool. That's not supposed to happen, but I like it.
Why are Mario's eyes bloody?
Just keep going.
Yeah, that's an honest thing right there.
We'll get to that. No, is that my cue, or you want me to kick this off here?
You can do, and Berta, most of what she knows, she watched with me, or if she was really, really, really bored. But yeah.
I concur.
You concur. So which one's your favorite?
Definitely Slender.
Slender. And Slender goes for creepypasta, to creepy movies, to creepy gaming, to
Just all around creepy.
Yeah.
Michael, why is he behind me? Sorry. Guys, watch Achievement Hunter, watch
them play Slender Man.
Yeah, watch Michael and Gavin play Slender Man.
It will be totally worth your time.
Is that the Rage Quit?
Yeah, that's the Rage Quit one.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite one? What's your favorite creepypasta?
Favorite creepypasta? Ever since you got me into the Ark and the Observer, that's gotten up there, but I've not watched it all, so I can't say that's my favorite yet. But my favorite, it's gotta be the Sonic.exe.
Sonic.exe.
It's gotta be. Just if I didn't know the full story and everything behind it, it'd make an awesome spooky story. It really would.
Well, see, and my thing is, Sonic was okay. Mario was better. Mario.exe was better. But I've watched all of them that include, like, the creepy phone calls, like, from dead people. Because that kind of stuff has been around ever since telephones have been around.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And what you were talking about earlier with the Ark and the Observer, that's a thing called Marble Hornets. And it ties into the Slender Man mythos. But the thing with that is, Slender Man started off as pictures. I mean, that's all it was. It was pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, oh, notice this. You know, this guy we never noticed him, but he's standing there in the background and doesn't have a face. He's kind of creepy. And this one guy named Troy noticed that there was no video of Slender Man. So him and some friends got together and they did this project called Marble Hornets. And if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It had a side thing with it called To the Ark, which actually gave you clues in like codes. They even had audio clues that if you took the audio and put them through a compression system, it would give you a picture or text to give you clues and hints about later on.
They were into this.
They did. It was awesome. I actually met the guys at RTX this year, and that's how I found out about it.
And then we found out about it through him.
Yeah, but if you're like, I'm gonna marathon this thing, yeah, wear an adult diaper. It's over 9.5 hours long, and at the end you're still going, what happens next? What?
You'll want to pause that in certain episodes because you'll sit there and you'll be like,
what did I just see?
Exactly. And there's I don't know how far into it, but as far as I've been into it, there's no jump scares or...
There's really not jump scares.
I mean, all the creepiness and stuff you get from it's from the way they've set it up and the way they've portrayed audio or not audio. I found some of the videos without audio.
Without audio, yeah. And the thing is they don't try to hide Slender from you. No, he's second episode, just boom. And you think it's just a mannequin standing there until the head turns, and then you're like, okay, yeah, screw that. I watched it late at night in Austin, Texas, because the creators told me to watch it.
Late at night. Not necessarily in Austin, Texas.
No, they just told me to watch it. Watch it, come back tomorrow. And I'm going to end up ordering the Blu-ray. But the Blu-ray is kind of expensive.
As is the Blu-ray.
Oh no, $50 for the complete series. But I was like, damn, why is it so much? And then I found out how long it was.
And that explains it.
9.5 hours is pretty good for $50.
And then same what kind of bonus features they'll have.
Oh yeah, it's got commentary, it's got behind the scenes, it's got I think it's got gag reel.
It's something scary like that has to have a gag reel.
Oh god, and these guys are nutcases anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a website called THAC. Troy has a camera.
See, what I want to know is the guy that's playing the observer. Is this a freakishly tall guy, or is it some kind of prop or something?
It is a prop.
Is it a prop?
They did talk about that. It is a prop.
Okay.
But they don't talk about how they did. Now, the initial ones where he's kind of when he looks around,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a prop or if it's forced perspective.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking about, kind of getting a sense of the height is entry like 5 or 6. It's kind of continuation of entry 1 where he walks by.
He's bent down.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, I don't want to play no more.
Well, I was letting my wife watch that very episode, and she had her hand on my leg, and as he's walking by, the pressure on my leg is just increasing, and I'm thinking like, I'm gonna have a blue leg here before it's all over with. But.
And poor Berta here, she caught them sporadically.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see very many of them.
But yeah, your mom has gotten addicted to masking.
Yeah.
Which is one of the characters. Seriously, found a T-shirt of masking. I think she needs it. But okay. So gaming.
Gaming creepypastas. Most of them are born through either hacked, glitch, or maybe
just programming.
Or maybe programming.
As in case of been drowned.
Well, as I
I'll tell you about binge
Yeah,
round.
we'll get to binge round, yeah. But I'll go with my favorite one, the one I know the most about, Sonic.exe. And we'll do a nutshell version of the story. Two buddies, both of them gamers. They're been separated by about distance and time. They haven't seen each other about 2 weeks. I get the feeling like it's maybe like summer or Christmas break. One of the buddies gets a package from the other with a note saying that you need to get rid of this. He's after me. It's too late for me.
He's too fast.
He's too
I can't
fast.
stop him.
You know, don't even play the game. Just destroy the disc. You'll destroy him. Just get rid of it for me. And you know, I'm wondering really here logically. I send you a disc telling you all this. Are you going to do the logical thing and destroy it? Or are you going to do what the guy in the story does and says, nah, I'm going to play it?
I'm a little different than most, though. You know this. I'm used to the weird shit.
I would be intrigued enough, I probably would actually pop it in.
I might play it and then feel sorry for whatever came after me.
But,
Destroy it.
Well, that's because you're logical.
yeah.
Sometimes.
But he pops in the computer, and it pulls up like the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 start screen. And when he pushes the start button for a second, the title screen changes, the water turns to blood, Sonic's eyes go from white with a black dot for his eye, go to black with a red dot.
And blood.
And blood coming out of it. And then the
Sega
copyright
666.
thing goes from Sega 91 to Sega 666. And then this is where you kind of know something weird is going on as far as what they've done, because the title screen was Sonic 1. It brings you up to a Sonic 3 file select screen type thing. It's got Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik. And you have to pick Tails first. So you pick Tails, and you start off in like a Green Hill, Emerald Hill, zone looking type area. You start running, there's this funky, weird, backwards music playing in the background. You're kind of setting the stage for it. And you're running along, you start seeing, you know, dead animals like the kind that pops out of the robots when you destroy them. The scenery in the background start to become kind of like the flowers are starting to kind of become grayed and disfigured. And you finally run along, you see Sonic here, and the game takes over for a second and makes Tails walk towards him slowly. And as he's walking, the static sound starts building up. And then when he gets probably about, screen-wise, probably about 1 or 2 sprites from Sonic. Sonic opens his eyes, it blacks out, and words come on the screen that say, "Want to play a game?" And so it goes to the next level. Tails is crying, pointing, trying to talk to you. He's breaking the fourth wall. And so you start running, music's playing in the background. Nothing's really, the stage is on fire.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all of a sudden these little Sonic things appear all over the screen, and Sonic starts flying, and it has the underwater timer theme playing. And he catches up to Tails. Tails starts crying. And Sonic appears in front of him, grabs him, this blood-curdling scream gets let out. More words appear on the screen, something about "you're too slow, want to try again." And then you do this very similar things with Knuckles, Robotnik.
But when you go back to the character selection, Tails is laying there a bloody corpse.
Yes. Well, not a bloody corpse, but like up in the TV screen, he's now black and white. His eyes are now black, blood running out.
Well, no, I mean down on the.
I guess I've never noticed that a few times I've watched it. But you go through, and he catches all 3 of them, and when he beats Robotnik, the static and the static sound and the static on the screen go for a long period of time, and then a hyper-realistic image of Sonic appears that says, "I am God." And about that time, you're supposed to turn around, and there's supposed to be this Sonic plushy doll on your bed with black eyes, blood coming out of it.
And it kills you.
And it kills you. Or, something. The ending of it's kind of...
Well, you take the Sonic.exe and then you apply it to Tails doll, which we're not even going to go into because that's...
I didn't like the Tails doll one. Jerry, my little sister, loves the Tails doll.
I hate Tails doll. I hate the idea of Tails doll anyway. It's very similar.
And it is
But you have to go through what's the name of the game? Sonic R.
First off, you have to submit yourself to that atrocity anyway.
It's a racing game.
It was, kind of meant to be Sonic's Mario Kart, and they failed miserably. They got it right eventually with the Sega All-Stars Racing,
Yeah,
but it was horrible. The controls were stupid. Now, Tails really is a character on that game, though. You do certain things. You have to unlock Super Sonic first. Then I think you have to beat the whole game with Super Sonic in first place. And then you get the Tails. I mean, he is a character, but... he's a character, but, I don't know how to deal. I mean, he is kind of creepy, all of Tails. It's just kind of there.
I mean,
being controlled by what I think is meant to be a chaos symbol on his head.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to another one of mine here in a second. One that he likes himself. But
all right. So Slender, you said you're a fan of Slender. So what drew you to Slender?
Honestly,
she likes the tall guys in the suits with no faces.
that's exactly it. That is exactly right.
You know that he's built.
No, actually, until really, really recently, I didn't even know what a creepypasta was, so I didn't even know that Slender was a creepypasta. But what got me into Slender was I actually read the story about the girls.
Oh, the
that
stabbing?
Stabbed their friends because of Slender.
Slender
So I'm like, and it just kind of got me curious, like, what is Slender? So I started Googling, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking creepy. And it just kind of went from there.
Holy fucking ass crackers, Batman. And everybody talks about the Slender stabbing. I mean, I'm sorry. These two girls stabbed their friends, she died. Actually, they stabbed her. She's alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she made a full recovery.
I think that was just lame excuse
Physically,
on the
at
girl's
least.
part.
Yeah, well, no, she actually has no ill will toward the creator of Slender, the guy that came up with Slender. He freaking went and testified in the court case. The guy that created it goes in and says, "This is all fake. I don't." But to me, it's like the old D&D excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons are evil.
They're the devil.
They're the devil.
Well, I mean, it's just putting the blame somewhere, Video games made me do it, Slender made me do it, Marilyn Manson made me do it, like...
The Powerpuff Girls made me do it.
Here's to
it's...
be honest with him. Carl
I
made
don't-
me do it.
I don't even know what you're talking
No.
about here.
You know why you did it?
The Joker made me do it.
No, you did it.
For the people.
Always for the people.
Did we explain to you about that one?
No.
All right, we might as well explain on camera for this one.
I know.
We.
Okay, first off, do they know where the people comes from?
Okay, I'm a Batman. Well, honestly, I'm a Joker fan. If you can't gather that from my screen name and everything else, I'm a Joker fan.
You're lost.
But Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, awesome films. But their version of Bane, when he's given the big speech at the football stadium and everything, basically the only thing that I could understand in the theater was, for the people! So now whenever something happens, it's usually done for the people!
There's more to it than that. You gotta give.
Oh, and then there's the epic rap battles of history. The Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney one.
Oh, God.
Where at the end, Abe Lincoln comes down and just basically pwns both of them. By the people, of the people, for the people! Eagle!
And then
There's the wrestling game.
my favorite version.
I made Bane in WWE 2K13 and 14, and I gave him a finishing move that's very reminiscent of him breaking Batman's back. But you have to name it, and backbreaker is already taken, and it sounds lame anyway, so I called it For the People.
And it is epic. Okay, you can continue now. This PSA was brought to you
By the people!
You gotta top that now.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's like, I'll take your drink. Go.
Watch the face. Watch the face. Yeah. Getting better.
I don't know, I can't decide. Well, I mean, pretty much everything gets better the more you drink it, but I just.
Incorrect.
Touche. But I can't decide if it's like the most delicious thing I've ever tasted.
The most disgusting thing I've ever tasted.
I think you need another drink.
We may have to cut this podcast short, guys.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
So what's your creepypasta, sir?
Oh, well, probably the one. See, that's the thing, though. I like a lot of them. The two that I've studied the most is, of course, the Marble Hornets, the Observer, who it's Slender Man, but he doesn't kidnap kids like he does in the Slender.
Right.
Because in the Slender mythos, he appears and takes kids on. This guy doesn't take kids. He drives you insane and makes you go kill your friends and everything else, and you become an incubator for him. So yeah, it's real. But there's that, and then there's the SCP, which is Secure, Contain, Protect. And it's not one creepypasta. It is a multitude of. It's an organization. It's an organization that goes out and finds like things with unusual abilities. One of the most famous ones is called the Statue, and it looks like this poorly constructed 6-foot-tall concrete teddy bear. But the head is oversized and there's blood all over it. And as long as someone's looking at it, it won't do anything. But the instant you turn your back, it'll appear behind you and snap your neck. And it actually came out prior to the Weeping Angels for you Doctor Who fans. But there's that, but not all of them's violent.
No.
Some of them, there's one that apparently is looks like an old surgeon's chair with the thing over it. But once it's activated, it goes through and diagnoses what's wrong with the person and then fixes it. So, but it had problems because somebody had like no leg, and so it rebuilt them a leg out of a machine. So it made them into a cyborg, and their body couldn't quite cope with that. So, but you can go to the you can look up SCP, and you can go through thousands of different items and beings, because some of them are people, some of them are houses, and they could be like as small as a coin. And they can be as big as an apartment building. Massive structures. Apparently there's a satellite. One of them's a satellite rotating above Earth. But yeah, that's another one that's bridged the gap, because they actually made video games, PC games, of SCP. SCP Containment Breach is one of them, and I heard it's pretty good. I might look that up on good old Steam just to see if it's there, and if so, I might end up getting it if it's cheap enough. I love Steam sales. It's my weakness. let's see, you know, then there's Jeff the Killer.
That's a classic.
You know, okay. Apparently Jeff is an older brother. I mean, it's him, his little brother, his mom, and dad. And apparently he was always, you know, stayed away from people, didn't really get along, kind of antisocial. Well, he started coming out of the show with the help of his little brother, and he went to he was on his way to a party. No, that happened later. They were, him and his brother were going down the street, and these three kids that were his age jumped out and, you know, tried to attack him, and one of them pulled a knife and cut him. And Jeff snapped and ended up beating the crap out of the kids and stabbing them and everything. Didn't kill them, but, you know, he gets blamed for it because he's the one that actually won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, he goes to a birthday party, and this is later on, and the kids come out of nowhere, and one of them, like, burns his face. And I mean, they're beating the crap out of him, and one of them burns his face and everything, and he just loses it. He ends up killing one of them, you know, but everybody can see that it was self-defense in this case.
Right.
So, but he's sitting there in his, he can finally get out of the hospital and goes home, and I mean, his face is stretched into a grin, kind of like the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
but, you know, his skin's all tight and everything, and he's just, and his mom says, you know, just go to sleep, everything will be better, da, 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 da. And one night she hears something in the bathroom, and she goes in and cut his eyelids off. And he looks at her and goes, "Mommy, you lied to me," and kills her. Kills his dad, then goes in there and just tells his brother to go to sleep. And suffocates his brother and runs off. Yeah.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense. So a lot of the pictures I've seen of Jeff the Killer, usually it always has the text, "Go to sleep."
Go to sleep. Is that her? "Mommy, you lied."
See, I've never heard of any of that.
Oh. You want to know how I got into creepypastas besides this guy? He told me about creepypastas, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to look up creepypastas. And I looked up creepypastas, and one of the first hits I got was Top 10 Creepypastas by Matthew Santoro.
I think you showed me that one.
And through Matthew Santoro, I found an even creepier website. YouTuber. It's the Seriously Strange by Rob Dyke. Yeah, Rob Dyke. The Rob Mob. He does something every week, and it's like serial killers. It's like murders, disappearances, and a lot of it's factual, and it's creepier than the creepypastas. But you were going to talk about one that deals with one of your favorite games of all time.
One of your favorite games?
No, my favorite game.
Oh, you're talking about that one. I was actually going to talk about the Mario one.
I want you to talk about Ben.
Oh, man. Okay, first off, my sister is a huge fan of this one. I have no idea why. But Ben Drown rotates around a copy of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which that game on its own is very creepy, kind of disturbing. In a point of view, it is the 5 stages of grief. A lot of people speculate that Link is actually dead through this whole game. You know, if you want to go debate that, there's pages out there you can go debate that, and people will debate with you about it. Huh?
Naughty.
Listen. But this goes on about kid goes to game store. No, garage sale.
Garage sale.
Sorry. It's been a little while since I've read the Ben Drown one. And he finds an N64 cartridge that the label is missing and just Majora is written across the front. It's an older man running it, and he just gives the cartridge away, you know, on the house. So kid takes it home, pops it in, and there's a file on there already saved named Ben. He looks at it, and it's fairly completed. I think he was just shy of the fourth Guardian mask. And so he says, well, man, it'd be a shame to leave this here. So he goes in and he plays it, and starts off kind of normal enough. But as he goes along here, he notices the game kind of starts doing some weird stuff. The music starts kind of changing on him.
Goes backwards.
Never good sound when the music starts going backwards. But the thing,
unless it's a certain few games when the backwards music sounds better than the regular music.
Yeah. But one of the creepiest things, I guess, was, and this is creepy in a normal copy of Majora's Mask, is there's a song you can play that will make a statue copy of whatever mask Link is currently in. Or if he's not wearing a mask, if he's just himself. Well, without playing the song, the statues of just plain Link are popping up anytime he stops moving for a second. Just following him. So, he's like, well, there's something wrong here. So he turns it off and does what all classic gamers know to do. Pulls it out, puts it back in, thinking that maybe it's dirty or something, something's causing it to glitch out. And he decides, you know what, I'm just going to start my own file. And but when he turns it back on, there's now a file underneath the bin that now says drowned. Was not there before. He goes and he clicks on it, and if I remember, I think the save data was just all kinds of jacked up. It didn't make any kind of sense at all.
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
And so he clicks on it, and I mean, he comes out of the clock tower in Clocktown just like you would, but there's no buildings. There's like
no, the buildings are there. The people aren't.
The people aren't there. Well, in one of the sections of town, the walls are gone. It's just you're just on the pathway, and when you try to leave the town, you actually come out in like another part of town, and the statue thing is still going on. Well, he tries to glitch the game out or make it reset on itself somehow by drowning Link using the Goron mask, I believe. Well, the screen goes black, and it pops up those famous words.
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
And
fucking mask you.
And it opens up to you on top of the clock tower like you're going to fight the Skull Kid. And all of a sudden Link catches on fire and falls to the ground, of no attack or prompting or anything. And it cuts to black again, and you hear the the laugh of the salesman, which is like one of the creepiest things.
The salesman can go burn.
And I've heard a couple different versions of what happens from there.
After that, he takes it and he erases drowned.
Yes.
He erases drowned and he starts his own game. And, he'll be playing along and then just die. And every time he dies, you've met with a horrible fate, haven't you? And he'll get stuck in a corner by the Link statues. But supposedly the cartridge was owned by a kid named Ben who drowned, and that was his favorite game, so he kind of possessed it. The creepiest part about this creepypasta, the guy filmed it. He put it up on YouTube to watch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
and so a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is real. This is real. Come to find out the guy's a programmer.
And he's just like, I'm gonna mime it.
Yeah.
And you can't decide whether that's disappointing or like a relief.
It's probably a relief on that one.
Yeah.
Because that game is fucked enough as it is.
Now, I got one for you. This goes back to something we talked about last week with you being an arcade rat. And it's a gaming creepy.
Oh.
Polybius. Huh?
Polybius.
Yes. Take it away, sir.
Oh, Polybius.
No, you might have to.
Okay. All right, you really got me in a corner on this one. I know about it. I know about it. It's just I know too much about it. That's the problem. It was in Oregon.
Yes. This was not a widely circulated game.
No. It's like there was a game called Polybius in the arcade, and there's no factual evidence of it ever being real.
This is not the game we were looking for.
But apparently, it would cause people would stand there and try to get the high score, as they would try to do in the arcades. But there's it would cause seizures. It would cause aggression. It would cause death. I mean,
Flappy
people.
Bird.
No, worse. I mean, people would just fall over bleeding out their eyes. And every 2 weeks, a pair of guys in black suits would come in.
Black sunglasses.
Go in, and mind you, this is long before the Men in Black whole thing. Well, when it comes to like popular culture, they've been reported as early as what, 1950s.
Yeah, Area 51 type stuff.
Mothman. But Mothman ain't my baby. So but anyway, they would come in and collect data from the machine, and they'd see what up, and it went on for like 2 months, and then they just came in, collected the machine, and left. Now, mind you, the reason a lot of people give this thing credence is because at the time, Atari was working with the U.S. government to try to come up with a simulator to train their soldiers. So they thought that this was one of the, prototypes. It's a Manchurian Candidate all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the story about Polybius, and nobody can prove it. But it's been in like The Simpsons. It's been in Futurama. It's been in.
It's got a very big cult following.
Somebody actually went in and recreated it based on what it's supposed to be like. But that's all. That's all rumor. What about the arcade game that actually has 2 confirmed deaths? Berserk, with the most annoying classic boss ever, Evil Otto. All Evil Otto is a little ball that bounces, and it's got a smiley face.
Yes, I've heard about this.
And if it touches you, it kills you. 2, and I think one of them was 16, the other one was 18. As soon as not 3 minutes after they put their initials in the high score, heart attacks.
Like they beat the game? Or
Like they got a high score in it, and then they had a heart attack. There was no beating that game.
Oh, okay. So
Trust me. What it was a maze, and there's electrified walls. You touch the wall, you die. The robots shoot you, you die. You touch the robot, you die. Evil Otto bounces through walls and hits you, you die. And he sits there and bounces, smiling at you. Yeah, creepy.
All I can think of, like the only game I know of where somebody actually died was Flappy Bird.
Someone died over Flappy Bird?
Yeah, that's why I took it off there and you can't download it anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Some kid killed his brother. Or some shit, Who knows?
Everyone, it's a creepypasta. Calling it now.
It really might be,
Why don't y'all go write the creepypasta? Maybe we'll mention it on next year's episode.
I don't know, have y'all ever played Flappy Bird?
Yes.
Okay.
I played it once. Said this game fucking sucks.
I say they ripped too much off of Mario.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The pipes, the clouds.
Yeah.
This is
I was like, I think Nintendo's gonna sue somebody.
I think George Lucas will sue somebody.
But I mean,
No. This may be one for one of our next spooky episodes. It will be talked about this month. I don't know if we could throw this in as a creepypasta or related to specifically creepy gaming. But you and me both talked about it. It's very interesting, and that's the Earthbound theory.
That's not even a theory. Okay.
Some people debate that it's theory.
Well, you heard about what the designer came out and said about it, so.
But do we want to talk about
this
now?
This is a creepypasta because Earthbound in and of itself is not, or Mother, as
Mother,
it's
yeah.
It's not a creepy game. It's a cute game. I love that game.
The people who make Pokemon, this was one of the forerunners for that kind of game design.
Yeah. And it's a role-playing game. And I love classic role-playing games. And I loved this game. I beat this game. But the problem is the final boss. You have to go back in time to when it's in its weakest form. Gaius. And, everybody's like, oh, it's not that creepy until you look at the outline.
You have to be able to... And you can't do it in the game. You have to be able to have gone in there...
And captured it or taken a picture. But the outline around what you think is the boss is a fetus. And it's sitting at the umbilical cord.
And the map area leading to the boss...
Looks like a uterus. So, yeah.
Oh, it...
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about abortion. You heard it here first, kids. It's about abortion. No.
But I didn't, that's...
Abort your enemy.
Oh my god. No.
But...
Poor bird. We're breaking your brain.
We'll go deeper into that in the creepy gaming episode about how that actually came about, where the ideas for some of the conversations that happened during that boss fight.
Oh.
I mean, it's a very creepy.
It's it goes cute, and that last level's like fuck you.
Yeah, it's like it's like when you're having that dream and everything's going good, and then all of a sudden someone says nightmare, and
or you're having one of those really, really good dreams when you're making it, when you're going out with this really hot chick and y'all are about to get it, and then all of a sudden you're sitting in your classroom and the girl's nowhere to be seen. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
I've never had a dream like that.
Well, yours would be a guy, so.
You never know. I better watch this.
That face was like, excuse me?
That makes it even better.
It was too big a drink, and it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
It's not getting better with time. No, it's starting to get warm, probably.
Mm-hmm. It's burning more.
What else do we want to say about creepypastas?
Creepy.
I mean, there's so many out there. I mean, gaming alone, there's ones for Mario, there's ones for Pokemon, there's ones...
Oh, there's tons for Pokemon.
Yes, considering
Lavender Town. Okay. I mean, you have Jeff. You have the phone calls. You have like the guy that he kept his dead fiance's Facebook page up, kind of like a memorial, and then messages started getting posted to it.
She started replying.
She started replying to stuff, and pictures started getting posted onto it of him inside his house. Yeah.
I mean, you can go type creepypasta and you can either just leave it at that or fill in a blank space on the other side of it, gaming, or on either side. Gaming creepypasta, creepypastas based on real life,
Creepypasta cell phone, creepypasta Jeff, creepypasta Slender, creepypasta Joker, I don't know, just whatever the fuck. I mean, there's so many.
And some of them you'll get to the end of it and you'll be like, if I didn't know certain things, that would be a really good scary story. And the other ones you'll get to the end of it and you'll be like,
did that happen? And then there's something like, really?
Yeah.
Tails doll.
Yeah, Tails doll, prime example. Now, another example of one that I think was a really good. What's up with that? It was the Mario.exe.
Mario.exe. And it's Super Mario World.
Mm-hmm.
You played Super Mario World.
For the Super Nintendo, yeah.
Everybody's played Super Mario World, unless they're like newbies and they adopted into gaming. They're not born into it. For the people. But there's no enemies, and every time you hit one of those message blocks, you get, "You're a horrible person. How could you do this, Mario? I hate you." Da, da, da. And it just keeps going and going, and you start becoming grayscale and desaturated in color. And but yeah, I mean, it's just like you're dying.
The gameplay itself is not the creepy part of it, though.
It's the messages.
No, not even that. Think about the README file.
Oh yeah.
When you decode it.
Yeah, but
Well,
one of the message box says, "Victim was found female with her eyes cut out and her lips removed."
Yeah.
And there's a README file, and it looks like gibberish. Until you take that gibberish and put it over into a JPEG, or I can't remember if it was JPEG or bitmap
JPEG.
image, and it's a woman's face, and the eyes are cut out and the lips are gone, and it's black and red. I mean, it's pretty nasty looking.
And the way that box you're talking about, actually, I think that's the mess that displays when you actually beat the castle.
Yeah.
In that area, it reads like a crime scene.
Yeah, crime scene report.
Coroner report or something. But no, it's just stuff. It's turn the lights down and the volume up as we dive into
creepy gaming.
Shout out to the Sticky Paddle. He does a really good job with the creepy gaming stuff.
She actually doesn't like him.
You don't like the Sticky Paddle guy?
Mullet Mike.
Mullet Mike?
No.
Oh,
See,
Okay, you know what? It's not that I don't like him. I don't like
The mullet. He actually doesn't have a mullet.
it's even the concept, like I hate the word mullet. It just sounds.
Mull it over. Mullet.
Thank you. No, I mean it really
I will scorpion.
It's the word mullet. It's anything that has to do with a mullet is just.
The sad thing is one of the visiting pharmacists that we have looks and sounds exactly like
Mullet Mike.
Mullet Mike. And he does a lot of good creepy gaming stuff.
It is. All of his stuff is creepy gaming related. I think he's got like 3 seasons, 4 seasons.
4 or 5 seasons.
And he does stuff that you would figure be creepy. Like he does one over the Doom series. He does one I think over Silent Hill.
He's done it over Silent Hill. He's done it over GTA. He's done 4 or 5 different GTA ones.
Yeah. And then he does it over the ones like Sonic.exe, Tails Doll.
And he even tells you, yeah, it comes out and kills you, boo. Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp. But do we endorse Mullet Mike? Do we recommend? It comes recommended.
I recommend Mullet Mike.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact, he started off anything for the Sticky Paddle Network. SOG gamers, some ordinary gamers. SOG. They're great. They're part of the Sticky Paddle Network too. Actually, they've become part of the Full Screen family, and which is the same thing that Rooster Teeth is now.
Ah. Moving on.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just not ready.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm feeling it.
Huh?
I'm feeling it.
Well, you should be.
But
What we got left for Creepypasta? This will be the smallest of our 3.
yeah, because creepypasta. I mean, seriously, when I say
Let us type in a couple of words
that,
here.
that SOG. No, I've got SOG here. Just watch this. scpwiki.net. If my iPad will actually pull something up. List of SCPs 1 through 99, 100 through 199. Let's just keep rolling. Okay, there's 299, 399, 1999.
Like, has there ever been a creepypasta that turned out to be true?
Yes.
No, wait, let's specify that. A creepypasta that turned out to have some fact to it, or a creepypasta that had some fact based in it? Like, it started off with some factual stuff and grew.
Like, one that was pure fact.
No. But there is one that,
Because, I mean, you can find fact in almost anything. Like,
Well-
everything's usually based off something. I mean, it's got some kind of factual
the
base
Bunny
to
Man
it.
Killer.
The what?
The Bunny Man Killer.
The Bunny Man.
It is a man, I believe it's up in the New England states, Bunny Man Bridge.
Mm-hmm. I remember this one.
If you go there on a certain night, at midnight, there's supposedly a guy shows. There was a guy that actually lived in the area that he would try to break into people's houses, and he was dressed in a bunny suit, and he killed somebody. He took an axe to them.
Oh, wow.
And he ran off. They never caught him. And he attacked a bunch more people. So could you imagine that? Sir, what did your attacker look like? He was 6'2" and had big floppy ears.
The Easter Bunny.
He looked like the Easter.
He looked like the Easter Bunny. Don't let him touch me again!
You know what creepypasta we haven't talked about? Pint-sized slasher.
The what?
The pint-sized slasher. I have to. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
We have to talk about this. It's gonna happen.
You've seen it. We watched it like the last time I was over here, or the time before that.
It's a video game. It takes place in a video game.
It's the Fallout
It's the
3
Fallout.
with the kid with the clown head on. And then
Okay, yeah.
That's not a real creepypasta. I just thought
I
that.
think I missed that one. I saw the one where he was locked in the vault and started talking to the dolls and they started coming back.
1277.
With the puppets. Fallout has some really good creepypasta material.
But that's the time for creepy gaming.
No, I'm saying like stories in it.
Oh yeah, they've got
Good.
lots of good stories that would be awesome creepypastas. That cartoon's awesome.
It is.
Speaking of which, cartoon creepypastas. Ed, and Eddie, been stuck in purgatory. But there's tons of
yes.
SpongeBob.
Okay, I see.
Squidward suicide.
Yeah, Squidward Suicide, which is a lost episode of Creepypasta.
Have you heard about the Pingu? Have you ever heard of Pingu?
I've heard of Pingu,
There's a
but
creepypasta from Pingu.
It's Pingu. It sounds like Pingu.
It is.
It's a penguin.
It's
okay, tell us while I've got its ears covered.
Well, Pingu is clay animation. And it was weird. I can't remember how I came across it. But it was something similar to a lost episode type thing. And I can't remember how the creepypasta goes now. But it had to do with like the episode was called like Pingu's Punishment or something, and it was dark. And it coincided with someone like losing their job, and this was the last thing they had worked on, and they were able to really like do something with it. But I've heard about the Ed and Eddie Purgatory theory.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, well, that all of them were kids that died in different ages, different eras of, and
Different eras?
yeah, different eras. Like Jimmy, the real weak one.
No, that's because Jimmy is the one that has Plank.
Oh yeah. Well, Jimmy and Plank are from like the 1930s.
Okay.
What is the real sickly kid? His name? Well, he died of leukemia in like the 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
Ed, Tall Thin Ed. Or Eddie.
Tall Thin Ed?
Yeah, that's Eddie.
Ed with one D or Ed with two D's?
Double D is the nerd.
Yeah. The smart one.
Ed, the other Ed is the stupid one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Eddie, which is the money girl.
Yeah.
But Ed, single D, died in like the 1970s, 60s or 70s, which is why he's a big B-movie fan.
Okay.
But notice that the only one that have, that seem to be able to do whatever they want. And nobody leaves the cul-de-sac, ever.
Yeah.
Except for the Canker sisters, who are demons, set there to torment the other children.
That is creepy.
Yes, because nothing bad really ever happens to the kids. Sometimes the kids get away, but not necessarily anything bad happens to the cankers. That more often than not, they usually pull one over on the heads.
And always look at their tongues.
Look
at their tongues.
You were right. It is Jimmy. Plank's guy is Johnny.
Johnny. Yeah.
Easy mix-up.
Was there a Hey On?
Oh, there's a few Hey Arnold creepypastas, but usually they're about Helga.
Yeah, and her obsession with Arnold.
Yeah.
One of them is because of her home life. So, and then there's the SpongeBob one about them being nuclear radiation experiments. Because
only SpongeBob one that I've really seen a lot of is the Squidward suicide. I've never watched it.
Well, think about it this way. Where do they live?
In the sea.
Well, what's the name of where they live?
Bikini Bottom.
Bikini Bottom. The Bikini Atoll. What happened in the Bikini Atoll? Nuclear testing. Notice, whenever something falls or there's even a small drop of something, it explodes. And what does the explosion look like? A mushroom cloud. Yeah. I rest my case.
Objection! Overruled.
What are you objecting now? Just wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say it.
Scooby-Doo.
Rugrats.
Oh, the Angelica one. About it all being in her head. That all the other kids are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've heard that one.
I don't remember the dead part, but I remember it all being in her head.
No. All of them were. They died, except for her, and she made up what they would be like
as they got older.
It's just like the parents of Phil and Lil had an abortion, and because that they didn't know what it would be, if it'd be boy or girl, she made them into twins.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, Chucky died in childbirth. His mom died during childbirth, and he died with her. Tommy died sudden infant death syndrome.
And it had something to do with his dad's making
always
toys.
Making toys and to give to the child that he never really had. Yeah, it's creepy.
They're ruining childhoods.
Yeah, and a lot of these aren't even labeled. You might not be able to find some of these labeled as creepypastas. You might have to kind of go looking more theory route type things. But a lot of these that you're mentioning, I've seen them, but not listed as creepypastas.
I've seen a lot of them as creepypastas. The Scooby-Doo theory.
So I haven't heard one on Scooby-Doo.
That everything takes place during a depression. That's why everything's run down. That's why so many people are out of work. Oh, and the Lavender Town one that we were talking about, Pokemon, your shirt reminded me. Actually has some backing to it. The original Lavender Town one does. What happened was they used binaural tones so that the right ear got a different tonal frequency than what the left ear did. And supposedly, and this was over in Japan. Supposedly, it was causing massive headaches, seizures, even causing such brain damage to contribute to death.
Wow.
They honestly did recall all the original Pokemon and re-put it out with a different tune, the different frequency.
We never got it over here.
Yeah, we never got the Dynamo.
Wow.
And a similar thing, and I don't know if you could follow this as a creepypasta, there was a Pokemon episode that...
The Porygon episode.
Yeah. That Ash and them had gone into a computer program to help a Porygon, and there's a lighting sequence between Pikachu's Thunderbolt and something going on in the computer system, and it sent 10,000 kids into a seizure over in Japan. Just, I mean, all at once.
There's a lot of Pokemon episodes that we never got over here.
Well, we eventually did get them. Well, I have the Porygon episode.
I'm talking about certain aspects of them, like the breast contest.
They edited that out.
Yeah. Yeah, James got a set of tits. And he actually won the...
Did he win the contest?
He won the contest because he had the biggest, nicest pair of breasts. And they were topless.
Japan gets away with a lot of stuff. Do you know in the very first Pokemon episode in Japan, Misty slaps Ash?
Yeah.
That's why in ours, when she's asking if Pikachu's okay, her hand's over here like this. And you're like, why is her hand over there? Because in the original that they edited out, she slaps Ash. I don't think he was slapped enough.
No. I don't either.
But that's off topic.
I think a lot of people should be slapped.
You've already slapped me enough tonight.
I don't think so.
You haven't slapped Bert any. Boop.
Bird has been slapping herself enough.
I still don't think that's what a slot sounds like.
Boop.
But
I don't know. What's another one?
I don't know. I'm blanking right now because we've been doing touchstones and cornerstones and everything else, but
I'll have to look at some more of the cartoon ones. That Ed and Eddie one really, I've heard of it, but that's really kind of interesting.
Creepy.
Was there ever an Invader Zim?
There was a lost episode of Invader Zim. But it was unfinished, and apparently it was like, Dio snapping and was like dissecting Zim.
Oh shit.
I think there's still a lot of debate whether this is factual or not, but the hanging in the Wizard of Oz.
You know, that's been...
I've heard it's been rebuked, and then it's been brought back, and then it's been...
Well, you know, they said it was a bird. A bird is not standing that high off the ground, floating.
Well, and I mean, if you go through and watch it, like, I have...
And you have to get a hold of an older copy of it. You can't find it now in the newer edited ones.
And the way I look at it is, okay, if it was a bird, then you can clearly see in the old one something swinging back there. If that was really a bird, why did they go through it in the new one? You can see where they completely cut that scene and had a bird flying across later.
Mm-hmm.
It was not... Now, do I believe that it was the girl who wanted to be Dorothy? No. I actually do believe that it was Munchkin. Munchkin.
Well, you know, there's so many stories about Wizard of Oz, like the Munchkin orgies. No, seriously. Apparently a certain person on set liked to have little people sex with a lot of them at the same time.
Yay, with the question mark. Well, in another instance, a very similar type thing is the Luigi Mansion.
Oh, the hanging, yeah.
That's legitimately there, though.
Yeah.
Now, why it's in the game?
Well,
That's the one where...
During the flash of lightning, it looks like he's...
And his silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But here's the thing. You heard about the official reasoning from Nintendo, correct?
Mm-mm.
Because of an error in the programming, the light source was supposed to be coming through the window, but the light source came from the ground, and so it reflected up. Which, doing a little bit of programming myself, is an error. But how they let that get through QA testing?
Well, I mean, you gotta think how many people are, at the time a new game comes out, maybe even testing, are you paying attention to light and shadows? You should be.
You're supposed to. You're supposed to, yeah.
So that could have just been someone just not paying attention at that particular moment in time.
Because you got to remember, I had to do a little bit of beta testing for the worst Final Fantasy ever
11
of all time. Their first attempt at an MMO. It's so bad! Oh my god! Let's see.
I mean, they're not really creepypastas, but they're kind of like the... I don't know, kind of like the hanging thing.
Yeah. Wasn't there some of the old Mickey Mouse cartoons?
Oh god, there's a lot of the old Mickey Mouse cartoons that have been pulled.
What was the Lost Disneyland or?
Oh,
that was a good one.
Abandoned by God.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this one?
I think I have.
Mowgli's Mansion.
I think so, yeah.
Where the guy finds out where it was, goes there, takes a picture of what he thinks is a giant concrete python, and then the python slithers off.
Wow.
And then he goes down into where the costumes are supposed to be, and the power actually comes on. Water's running because the sinks and everything are broken, so the water's just running.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a photo, there's like costumes hanging on the hooks and everything, and there's a photo negative Mickey Mouse costume laying on the floor. And he's looking at it, and it gets up. Mm-hmm. And it goes, "Wanna see me pull off my head?" And stuff just starts oozing out of its neck like a yellow, thick, nasty bile.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's actually really good for a creepypasta.
Yeah, I mean, it's very detailed.
You know what? I just missed my bus to nope, Phil.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. You just saw a giant python slither off, and you're going to go explore it into a building. And you have no weapons. All you have is that camera and a notebook.
That's my biggest complaint about the real world creepypastas, is that there's stuff where any person with a lick of sense would have been like, nope,
I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
They have to give the characters in these stories this naivety or this lack of sense or this lack of...
Well, then again, let's look at the real world as it is.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have any brains.
Yeah, but most of them don't have balls out
That's true.
there. You know?
But
yeah, I'm sorry, but if I'm going exploring any of these places, I'm taking something with me.
we're gonna Tomb Raider this sucker is what we're gonna do.
I got my 245s, and I got a sword, and to hell with the rest of y'all.
And lots of ammo.
Actually, just give me my swords, I'll be fine.
And you always take a decoy.
That's why I've
Just
got.
taking out one person.
That's why I've got Cameron.
Well, but it would have to be someone you'd be okay with, like, dying, you know, or...
That's why I've got Cameron.
That's fucked up.
Sad thing is, he knows that if we have to get out of there, he's going over one shoulder. Because I can outmove him.
That's it. I'm the one that goes off. Like, he'd be looking at something on the wall and reading it, and I'd gone off, and all of a sudden he's just, gotta go. Like,
All right. Go past and duck!
Matrix that. Sword goes over and gets whatever's following. It is so freaking late, you guys.
I know. I don't know. What time is it?
It's only 10 o'clock.
Is it only 10?
It's only 10 o'clock. But
I feel like I'm getting old.
you are getting old.
I know.
And I'm the oldest motherfucker here at this table. And I'm fine. Matter of fact, can't help it. Immortality is a bitch, but sometimes it has perks. But alright guys, I think we're going to call it for tonight. If y'all have any other questions, just leave them down in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe, get a hold of us, tell us that we're doing a good job, tell us we're doing a shitty job. Just tell us something.
Now, we're hoping to put out 2 more this month, right?
Yep.
We're going to have a creepy movie.
Creepy movie and a creepy gaming.
So the creepy gaming will have a lot of this
rehashed, but it's mainly going to be talking about games that are in of themselves creepy.
Not necessarily
creepypastas. But
do we know which one they should be looking forward to?
I don't know yet. We just have to check and see what our schedules are like. So
that's exactly.
Yep. But look for the streams because I'm going to be doing creepy games this month on Twitch and my YouTube channel. So talk to you guys later.
Later.